sometimes the stress rattles us so much that we don't have the capacity to name and give space. We actually have to find our way to space or safety or love first, so we have enough balance to be able to begin to acknowledge what's here. So sometimes when stress arises, for primates, that's us, the thing that most helps us to come into presence is connection. We need to feel safe. There's all the evidence in the world that when somebody holds our hands or when we hug, when we feel our belonging with each other, that enables us to sense what I sometimes call it the oceanness, so we have room for the waves. So there might be that order that we do it in too. That rather than pausing and beginning to name and honor, we first in some way call on whatever helps us to feel that connection, that space. And I'll give you an example that I loved. I read in one person's blog post. She says, my younger brother Alan had Down syndrome and died 4 months short of his 50th birthday. He was terrified of thunderstorms. Our mom taught Alan that when a storm approached, he should put his hand over his heart and say, God's right here. After Mom died, Alan stayed overnight with my family once a week. When a storm was near, Alan would come to us and say, God's right here. Then he would calm down. Later, when the storm passed, he would come to us and say, Alan's all right. What a picture, what a wonderful picture of faith Alan gave us. When the storms of life threaten, we can follow his example and remember, God's right here in our heart, every single day of our lives. Then we'll know we're truly all right. So whether our language is God, or timeless awareness is right here, or whether our language is right here, I can feel my belonging and love with this person, or feel that, as the Dalai Lama put it, to imagine you're being held in the heart of the Buddha, or someone else would reach out to the Divine Mother and feel that energy and warmth surrounding whatever our way is, through a person, through nature, through a deity, anything that reminds us of the truth of our connection is another way of responding to stress, remembering our connection, and then just honestly naming what's there. Tonight I've been talking about examples, sometimes the big ones, but really this practice gets very, very daily. In fact, the more you wake up, the more you'll find that even the small appearances of the egoic self have tension with them. Not because ego is bad, but because there's something in us that feels we're living in something smaller and more contracted than the truth of who we are. So there'll be a sense of judgment or comparison with someone else, or a feeling of being special or important. And with that, even with when we feel we've done a great job, there's some inflation or something that there's a sense of a little embarrassment about it. And it's because something in us knows we're living in an identity that's not the truth of who we are. So that's tension too, that's stress too, and that's a message too. Stress is good news. It's mostly our awareness letting us know that we're not living in the fullness of who we are. It's an invitation to come home. Okay, so we'll end tonight with a very brief meditation, a very brief sitting. Right at the heart of waking up is that longing or intention to really discover our full potential, to live from loving presence. So you might sense right now your own words for that, your own prayer, that in some way, whatever you encounter, may that be part of the path. May any physical pain or emotional pain or conflict, may that teach us, wake us up, be part of what frees us. And you might sense that intention gives you the courage, the willingness to fully connect with what's right here. These last few moments, just to let the breath deepen that connection. Breathing in and feeling that with the in-breath, that receptivity and contact with exactly the experience of the moment. Whatever is most compelling in the body, whatever sensations or feelings in the heart might most call your attention, to breathe in and touch that. Undefended heart. Breathing in and contacting the life that's here. And with the out-breath, sensing that this aliveness is floating, is held in openness, tenderness. There's room. Rumi talks about the wounded place as the place where the light shines through us. Breathing in, touching what's right here, undefended. And breathing out and sensing that openness, alertness, tenderness that holds this life. Close with the words of poet Dana Faulds. Inside the hot, hard knot of raw sensation, here inside the heart of fear and pain, I find the flame of truth. My path is through. Diving right into whatever past conditioning bids me hide or push aside. When I soften, open, accept and receive, the flow of energy is immediate. Nothing more is needed to awaken completely than the intimate experience of now. Namaste and blessings. Thank you.